Hello, troublemakers, and welcome into Late Night Dylan. Now, with most Late Night Dylans, I like to find something and make a couple jokes about it, you know, poke a little fun at it. This Late Night Dylan will be no different. That was a misdirect. Misdirects, ever heard of them? So there's this daytime TV talk show called The Real, and they post a bunch of clips to YouTube. How did I come across these clips? Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. The show is these 5 women, they sit around a table and they talk about gossip and relationship topics. And I wanted to talk about a couple of them. The first of which is, what's up with men calling women crazy?
This makes me insane.
What?
Okay, I'm talking about being called crazy. Oh.
What you mean?
Ooh.
Right? Ladies, does getting called crazy drive you crazy?
What?
Right?
I have one worse. Calm down.
Oh, don't even try to tell me to calm down. We about to get rowdy up in here. You can't stop it, so don't try to stop it. Don't try to stop it. I'm getting rowdy. Hurt my neck.
Anytime a man has told me, yo, my ex-girlfriend, she's crazy, all I say to them is, what did you do to make her
Exactly.
crazy? We don't just come out of the womb crazy.
No, we
right?
don't.
Well, crazy ain't the C word that I get upset about. It's another word
You know what?
that start with a C. Oh, we
Really,
are-
Lonnie?
Another C word. Crikey.
If I'm honest, I think all girls have a little bit of crazy in them.
This is where it starts, man. And I want to point out just why The Real is so entertaining. This 5-minute clip is a perfect representation of it. The premise of this conversation is that women shouldn't be called crazy because it's the men that are making the women crazy.
We don't. They usually
don't.
do something to make
Yeah.
us go
Yes.
back crazy.
Yeah.
That's the road that you think we're about to drive down.
I think all girls have a little bit of crazy in them.
I
Yes.
think it's just a degree of craziness.
Yeah, if we were here, they'd
no,
take us
Tamar.
here.
Yeah, no, exactly. Women might be just a little bit crazy, but the men exacerbate the problem.
And sometimes it's not the man that makes you a little more crazy. Sometimes it's that you haven't eaten in the last couple
Yes.
hours.
Same.
Favorite pair of jeans
From
didn't fit
experience.
like
Yes,
they
from
used to,
experience.
and you don't like that they don't fit you.
This is the point where it's jammed into reverse and we start heading down the freeway backwards, 80 miles an hour during rush hour. It's the men. Men make women crazy, but also sometimes they're just a little bit hungry. And sometimes their jeans don't fit, and that makes them crazy. So we were on this road, and then someone was like,
If a guy is almost too good, if you really like this man, it could cause you to be a little crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've felt
That
that
can make you
type of crazy when I like somebody so much that you stare at the phone waiting. God, he's making me crazy.
Or you just think he's like too good to be true. So
That-
then
then you make yourself crazy.
You make
Yes.
yourself go crazy.
Yes.
So men drive women crazy by being too desirable and too good. And that drives women crazy because fuck you, men. If you weren't so goddamn wantable, then these women won't be going crazy thinking about you.
He ain't that what he think he
Yes.
is.
Yes.
I'm gonna find out.
Yes.
Then you go crazy trying to
Yes.
find out.
Yes.
She's like, yes, you said it. But you're just proving the point that you are irrationally going crazy over a guy who is doing nothing but just minding his own business. Here's a video, crazy things we do for love. Which, just to clarify though, they're not crazy. The men make them do crazy things because of love.
I try not to be too judgmental because I have friends that have done some crazy things. And I actually know a friend of mine who went to her man's house. She didn't have the keys to the front door. She just said, boom, and she came through the air conditioner.
That's crazy.
So your friend didn't have a key, so she thought, why don't I just bust down this air conditioning unit? You know why air conditioning units aren't just like loosely hanging in windows? Like they are in there, like bolted down. Those things don't just pop out. You gotta use some force.
What did that girl see when she went in?
She saw her man laying in bed with another woman. They were both asleep.
They were still asleep, and then an air conditioning unit just comes barreling through the room, and they were still asleep. I think I'm a deep sleeper. But if I hear a 50-pound piece of metal just come clunking through my room, bolts flying everywhere, just debris all over the place, a coma patient would wake up from hearing that. Hello, and welcome to the sponsorship segment. It's actually kind of a crazy sponsorship because about a month ago, I bought a coffee machine for the first time in my entire life. Because for a while now, after like 5 p.m., I've been like running out of energy. And because caffeine and coffee are synonymous in my mind, I thought I'll just get a coffee maker, and I don't care if I don't like coffee, I'm gonna force myself to drink it. Then Verb Energy reached out. These little bars have as much caffeine as an espresso. The reason that I recommend these is because they're gluten-free, dairy dairy-free. They're super healthy. The caffeine from this actually comes from green tea. So here's the deal. If you use my link in the description, they're gonna send you 4 sample bars for less than $1. There'll be 4 different flavors, so you can try out, see which one you like the best, but then also you can see if it gives you energy during the day as well. Like I said, I wouldn't be recommending if it wasn't like a healthy product, and I like that it's like a smaller company too. It's not like this big conglomerate, like money-grubbing company, because those are the companies that inject foods with like bad chemicals and sugars to keep you awake. This is like all healthy. So thank you to Verb Energy for sponsoring this video, and now let's keep talking about the real. So this video here is real first date stories. Now this one excites me because I'm not a great first date planner. So I thought I would take the opportunity to take some notes.
Well, Vincent and I first date was at Disneyland.
Oh, Disneyland. That's a good one. Okay, Disney.
Next to Soaranova, California, they had these amazing chicken sandwiches at the restaurant, right? And then I found out he liked mayonnaise like I do. I was like, oh my God, where have you been all of my life? Then, this is how he really got right.
Okay, so I got Disney, chicken sandwiches, but what she's about to say, this is how he got her. So like, this is the big key here. All right, I'm listening.
He was eating chicken sandwich and he just started staring at me like that.
No!
Oh, don't give me the Disneyland stare!
Eat chicken sandwich seductively. So I got Disney, chicken sandwich, eating chicken sandwich in a sexy way. I guess is that it?
Then right after that, we had got tired. So we went to the movies.
Oh, okay, there's more, thank God. What's the last component here?
So we went to the movies in downtown Disney. We saw Wimbledon. We fell asleep. I was like, this is the one.
You fell asleep in a movie theater, and that's how you knew he was the one. Well, I'm just gonna close this right up. I think I got everything I need. I gotta be honest though, the man that she's talking about seems like a sweetheart.
So when did you know that you were in love?
When I rubbed your feet that day at the studio.
So long as he doesn't have like a foot fetish, which I can't completely rule out. Apart from that, it's a sweet gesture. That's a very sweet moment. It's unfortunate that we now have to shift into this next segment because this show is called The Real, and these women talk about their lives and their experiences. Topics about like the problems in the marriages pop up. I thought this was interesting. There's a whole conversation about prenups.
Unfortunately, Nick and Mariah seem to be headed for divorce. Are prenups as necessary as wedding bands these days?
You kind of have to protect yourself. Not saying that Nick is a guy digger. When you got the kind of wealth as Mariah,
right,
you kind of got to protect yourself.
So Tamar makes the point that when you have a lot of money, it's smart to protect yourself. That's not saying anything negative about your partner. It just means you have money just in case things go wrong. You'll have that protection. You don't have to worry about it. And because she's making this point, she, of course, also has a prenup. Right?
We don't have a prenup. However,
You ain't got a prenup?
For what?
For why? Despite just minutes ago saying it's smart to protect yourself because her husband has a lot of
We
money.
discussed that divorce is not an option. So, you know.
No one goes into a marriage planning to get divorced. But I guess good for Tamar. If she doesn't have to worry about it, her and her husband are committed to each other, I'm sure nothing could go wrong. Oh, no, they're divorced.
Who could have saw that coming?
Why did they get divorced, Dylan? Well, apparently, among the most outstanding issues they faced were Vince's reported troubles with money. Outside of work, she didn't want to socialize with him as much. So she doesn't like spending time with him all that much. And once he starts having problems with money, she no longer wants to be involved with him. I know how that looks. From the outside, it looks materialistic. It looks like she was after his money. But clearly that's not the case. She's not materialistic at all.
Did you stay together like just to make it to your
I do
birthday?
that all the time.
Just to make it to Valentine's Day
Oh,
or the
absolutely.
holidays?
We're not breaking up anytime before November, December. Get your life, okay? Now, I worked all year long to get me something nice.
I worked all year long. As if the relationship is just a job to her so that she could get a physical thing in return. Oh, God. For the most part, it's like kind of an ingrained idea in our society that men with money are attractive. Fuck those guys, but it's true. The problem is you can never admit that because no one wants to be wanted for their money because Their money isn't a part of them. Like, money comes and money goes. So if you lose your money, are you gonna not be interested in me anymore? There was a neighborhood kid who had like an Xbox, and he was like the only kid in the neighborhood to have one. All the neighborhood kids were friends with him when he was the only one with an Xbox. And everyone's like, hey, let's hang out, let's go to your place. And then once everybody else got Xboxes or PlayStations, everyone stopped hanging out with him. I felt so bad for him. I mean, not bad enough to go and hang out with him myself. Ugh, like, come on, he's unpopular. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't that bad. So you can never admit that you're after someone for their money. But when you start off by saying like, yeah, people should protect themselves with prenups, but not my husband, who's rich, he has money problems, I think we should divorce. But there's like other issues that factor. And then just to outwardly admit like, hey, I'm in this for gifts. Like, I'm not gonna break up with somebody if I'm getting a gift within the next 2 months. At this point, my investment in The Real was very surface level. But as soon as I started researching their relationship statuses and what's going on in their lives, I started falling down the rabbit hole, and I did not like it. Because these women are sitting here talking about their lives, and they're just raw and real, and I gotta respect them for it. Because they're coming out, they're spewing their opinions, and sometimes their opinions are dumb. Sorry, they are. But they're entertaining, and they do say some insightful stuff, and give some good perspective. But here's what happened with this woman here, Jeannie Mai. So they're having a conversation about spousal support.
And it's been reported that Melanie will get $65,000 a month in spousal support.
Well, all of y'all sitting up here hating on Melanie. She had to put up with him for 18 years. She deserved that money. I'm sorry.
Sometimes they have like very toxic viewpoints where it's like, I put up with my man, so I deserve compensation. Marriages shouldn't be about putting up with each other to get something in return. It should be like a successful cohabitation. It's about having a partner to go through life with and someone you enjoy doing things with. You go do those things with that person. She put up with him for 18 years. As if like she was forced into this marriage.
This is so true.
And like the applause that she gets. How many unhappy marriages are there? That women hear that and they're like, oh, putting up with men is so troublesome.
I disagree.
I'm trying to understand it a little bit more.
Tamara is like the best part of the show. The way that she talks about her relationship and her perspective on things is easily the healthiest amongst the whole group.
We as women need to make sure we put a price to the amount of time, the amount of energy, and the amount of work it takes to stroke a man's ego.
I don't think so.
And to keep him happy.
I don't like when people, men or women, pretend like their sex is the only one that puts in the effort. They're the only ones putting in work. If a man isn't putting time and energy into your relationship, probably don't be with him then.
If I marry Steven Spielberg and we get divorced, I'm not going back to my old life. I'd have been with Steven Spielberg. He know he gonna have to take care of me.
That's so toxic. That's not healthy at all. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like, if we get married, regardless if we're gonna stay together, you have to take care of me forever. It doesn't matter if I don't want to be with you and I divorce you. That's the rules. What? No. The reason this is interesting is because the tables got turned, and Jeannie Mai, she is now having to pay spousal support to her husband, who she got divorced from. Wait, before we get into that, her husband says something really wild.
When he's sick and his mom is around, it's a totally different man that I don't even know.
Maybe I'm just looking for some compassion in situations, you know? Because if I don't get it at home, at least I can get it from my mother.
It's so cringy. Why would you say that? It's like, my wife won't take care of me, so I have to go back to my mother. You are a grown adult. You can't be going to your mom when you're sick and having her make you chicken noodle soup. Just imagine him. He's like 40 years old, and his mother's just like, ooh, what did the airplane goes? What sound does an airplane make? I should have did the train. Choo 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 choo. Oop, into the mouth.
A shocking thing slapped me in the face when we divorced, and I had to end up paying him my earnings. And that really taught me a lesson today about looking out for myself.
So Jeannie gets divorced from her husband, but because she made more money during their marriage than he did, she has to pay him spousal support.
Knowing what I know now about who I married, I wouldn't have married him. Money can change people. Well, divorce can really change people.
I think that's why prenups are important, because you never see a certain side of somebody until your marriage ends. Because once you decide to go your separate ways, both of you, I mean, you still care. You probably still care about the other person. You still have love for them. But you know that you're not going to be in their lives anymore. You better just get all you can they'll get all they can. So there's just two forces instead of working together like a marriage is supposed to. Like eventually you start to go like this, you know? So it was interesting to watch them like debate about spousal support, and then it happens to one of them, and then they're like, oh, hold on a sec, I don't know if I agree with this anymore. Anyways, I think that's gonna end my dive into the real. I'm ready to go back to the fake. That was so dumb. I hope you enjoyed this edition of, just for old time's sake, I had to look directly into the light bulb. It's not a Late Night Dylan if I don't look directly into the light. My hand just all of a sudden was like, I'm gonna put this light in your eyes. My hand acted independently from my brain. Anyways, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this Late Night Dylan. I'll make another one at some point. Okay, I love you guys. Toodles. Goodbye.